From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hello, it's Caroline Gant.
Hello, it's Austin Lowen.
Hey, it's Tyler Blankenship. Hope everyone had a great Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah. It was a good Mother's Day.
I got my mom some plants.
I got all the mothers in my life plants, as I do every Mother's Day, and they love it.
Good.
I go around, I just choose plants that are like their personality a little bit, or try to. So it worked out.
Oh, I like that. It's a good way to be. Good way to go.
It was fun.
And I hope everyone just had a great day otherwise if they were not celebrating.
Yes.
Same.
Hope you all had a great Sunday.
We were busy out here on Sunday. You know, we're open from 12 to 4 out here during the busy season, and it was kicking.
Oh, yeah, I didn't expect it to be that busy.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I like it when it's busy.
Yeah, it was fun.
Time flies because I'm having so much fun.
Tyler, you weren't here. What'd you do Sunday? Did you see Mama? Or at least call Mama?
I called her.
Yeah. She down in Alabama.
I had some yard work to do.
No.
I mean, literally mowing the yard. We've gotten so much rain in our region.
It's been annoying.
My plants are loving it.
Yeah,
They
everything
are popping off. Although my poppies have been destroyed by the rain a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Everything is lush green. Hey, I stopped by Dickens Turf here in Nashville, and they grow a poppy outside their little building.
Yeah.
Nice.
They have like a little mulch strip. It's on a huge slope, though. That's probably why their poppies aren't wrecked.
What color are the poppies? Are they red?
Yellow and orange.
Oh, cute. They're probably the California poppies.
They were not.
They
No.
weren't?
Nope. They did not look like a California poppy.
Huh.
I've grown them before. But not those.
I love poppies.
I love poppies too. They're such a pretty flower. And Tyler, you're right. Everything, trees and shrubs and all of it is lush green right now. Like, it's great for the plants. The rain is not good for having to cut your grass. I got halfway done with mine. Well, more like 3/4 of the way done with mine yesterday, and I had to hop off because it started to rain. One day off,
you
I
not
get
just
to
mow it
mow.
in the rain?
No,
Why?
nobody mows in the rain. Not a thing.
I don't know.
Why don't you talk to Prince? I don't know.
Well, at least you got part of the way done before that rain started in.
It's almost more annoying. You know, it's kind of like a shrub that's half dead is more annoying than a shrub that's fully dead.
Just like your Justin Brower boxwoods. But now you've made one big boxwood.
I did do that.
I feel like we haven't talked about it too much on the podcast. Was it just last week that you showed the photos?
Yeah, I believe it was. So yeah, you have to watch the show to watch and to see the to see the photos. I don't ever say photos. I always say pictures.
You can say
So many
either.
people say photos. I realized that the other day. Either way.
I say both.
But yeah, I took 7 Justin Brower's boxwood, trimmed them all up because they all had dead sides and bad spots, and it was annoying. So put them all in the same hole together. It was great.
You made one big boxwood. We actually put a little clip of that on our social media, on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're listening out there and you're wondering where you can see this boxwood mashup, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. See what Kevin has created.
Kevin.
By Kevin, I mean Austin.
That's my nickname, people.
It is his nickname. He's got a few.
Yeah, there's a few.
But what are y'all doing in your gardens? I haven't been doing much. I've been so busy and it's been raining. But everything looks great. A lot of weeds.
I've gotten a fairly good handle on the weeds. Oh, I meant to tell y'all this, and I haven't told y'all this at all today. So, I've had one allium, okay? My millennium alliums, which is ornamental onions, line the whole front of my front bed. There's probably, 12 or 13 of them. And I can't even believe this, but for like 2 or 3 weeks, I've looked at the one in the middle, and it just looked different. It looked weird. I was like, what are you doing, man?
I've noticed it in your photos.
And I'm like, what? It didn't make any sense to me. And it was like a juvenile plant. And I didn't realize until yesterday when I actually got up on it. It was a weed growing dead center of it, and it resembled the allium so much that and there was allium within it. So I was like, this plant is doing something weird. And then I finally get down and I see that, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I had to pull that massive weed out now because it was eating the allium, and I pulled out some of the allium bulbs with it too. But now it's at least just allium and not this crazy weed that just looked like an allium. I can't believe it tricked me.
That weed tricked you. That
I'm a
got you
horticulturalist,
good.
and it tricked me, y'all.
That weed came up in that bed
Sneaky.
and said, hey, y'all watch this.
And
I'm
it
gonna
sure
get
did.
this guy.
Well, I noticed yesterday because it was about to go to bloom. You know, it was about to send out some flowers and seed heads, and I was like, oh, he tricked me. Oh.
You little sneaky snake.
But anyway, it's all good. It's all jerked out of there, thrown in the woods. So
That's where you throw all your angry plants into the woods.
You know, I have to have some words with, I think it's wood sorrel.
Yeah.
Wood sorrel gets right in there in bed with those other plants, and henbit.
Oh, yeah.
So many of them. I mean, right in there. And
Yeah.
they're like, so
And they just
it's
pop up
either
right in the
pull me
middle.
out or sacrifice your precious plant. What are you going to do, Tyler?
You're so right. That's a great point.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's a defense mechanism that they have, or if it's just because they're so prolific.
Yeah, they just come up everywhere.
Well, it happens. It specifically happens with alliums for me. Excuse me, for me a lot because they're so open and airy. I think that seeds are just really able to get in there just fine. Because there's this one, and it's annoying so much. It is a sumac that grows from the middle of this allium, and it keeps coming back.
Oh,
And I'm with you,
sumac
Tyler.
is-
I don't want to get down and like try to dig it.
You're going to have to.
I'm
with
gonna
that.
have to. I know, unless I'm
got a
just gonna
taproot
keep
so deep.
snipping for the rest of my life.
you can keep snipping for the rest of your life. That's fine. I do that with a bunch of elms that are up in my bed, like my lamb's ear. I know you hate lamb's ear, one of you in this room,
Me.
but I have
Not
an elm
me.
that keeps coming up in the middle of it. I don't
Elms
want
are
to dig it up.
horrible.
They're the worst
Well,
as
sumac's
far
a
as
close
throwing little saplings all over the place.
second. And then hard to pull weeds.
They establish their roots so fast, and then they're impossible to get up. They tear up your hands and
They
your
do.
heart.
So speaking of weeds, one of the reasons why I went to Dickens Turf is to have my lawnmower blade sharpened, which I'm a little late, but I'm catching up. But on a whim, I was like, I'm gonna bring a shovel and I'm gonna bring my stirrup hoe to have him try and sharpen them. And he was like, I can do the shovel, but I ain't never seen that before. And I don't think he had seen a lupo. And he said I did a goofy job on it, but he got it sharpened on both sides to where it cut a little bit better.
Oh,
And,
good.
you know, and also having a sharpened shovel made such a difference. As this weekend, I planted a blueberry, I planted a deciduous azalea.
Okay.
I think it was a dancing rabbit, Caroline.
No,
You remember when I got
the,
that? Or was it
It's not a dancing rabbit.
No.
It's
the other orangey one in it?
it's Appalachian gold.
That's it. Yes, I'm so excited for next
I've got
year.
some too. Yep.
Yeah, planted that, and that was just so easy because of just a little sharper.
So y'all who are listening and in the Nashville area, head down to Dickens.
Yeah, and
Get
if
your stuff sharpened.
yes, and if you're outside the area, look for just a locally owned landscaping shop, one that might work on lawnmowers or sell mowing equipment. And chances are they might have a grinder back in the shop where they can do that. You know, I know David once offered on the show to sharpen somebody's shovel for them.
Come on down.
So you never know. You never know who might just be willing. You might be somebody on your own street. One of your neighbors are probably like, "Oh man, I got nothing to do," or "Oh man, I got nothing to do." You know,
Yep.
depending on where you are.
I do mine myself. I just take the lawnmower and I drive it up a couple ramps that I got, and then I put the deck all the way up, and then I lay down and I use my hand grinder. And that's a powerful little thing, by the way. That thing turns on and you know you got something in your hand.
That sounds all kinds of scary.
It was scary. Lots
It
of
does.
sparks fly at
Sounds
me.
like Final Destination
I
right there.
No, it's not. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm sharpening them blades up, y'all. You got to deal with the sparks so you get the
So
clean
you
cut.
get
Do
up
you wear
under
safety
your
goggles?
lawnmower with a grinder above your blades. Am I correct?
Yes, all of that.
Okay.
But it works great. And
Do
yes,
you
I
wear
do
safety
wear.
goggles?
I wear my sunglasses and safety goggles.
You can't hurt those sunglasses though.
They won't get hurt.
He's wearing a brand new pair of sunglasses.
I am.
You might scratch them up a little bit.
He only wears them 10% of the time.
That's true. They're a fashion statement.
I'm like surprised when he actually wears them. Like, what are you doing with those on? They're supposed to be on top of your head.
Supposed to be on that hat. Get it up there. You look weird.
Y'all
Well,
just making fun of me.
I've never sharpened a lawnmower blade in my life. So
It's
This
wild.
is-
maybe that's why my lawnmowers always break really quickly.
This was actually my first time too. I would usually just replace the blade, but this time I decided to get it sharpened. And although I did it after I mowed my lawn, I haven't done it like mowed yet to see the difference. It's probably going to be night and day.
Oh, it's amazing. That
Mm-hmm.
first cut after a fresh sharpen, nothing like it. Yeah, I do. I sharpen my blades twice a year just to see it.
Have you done it this year yet?
See,
No, I need to though because it's starting to get annoying.
We
Gotta
want to
run
see a
over the
video of
grass.
you, how you do it. Document it.
No, Tyler will get mad at me because it's not safe.
it does not sound safe.
It's not.
You don't need a visual to like hear.
It's not safe.
Yes, and I'm just like, oh no.
Hey, them blades sharpen up.
Yes,
I bet. And I bet your lawn looks real nice after.
It does.
I know you love a good freshly cut yard.
Nothing better.
But because of all this rain and all these weeds, we got to get down and you got to get your hands dirty and do it. And I know also nobody's enthused, especially if you're living in an area with all these cicadas have emerged.
I got none at my house.
Well, lucky you,
None.
because it is roaring in town. And, I read their lifespan's about 4 weeks. So, further north, they're probably just starting to emerge in those areas in the east.
Could be.
Yeah.
Do you have them at your house, Austin?
Very minimal. I haven't seen a lot yet or heard a lot. I hear way more like here, closer to Nashville, and like people that have talked to me like from in the city of Nashville, I've seem like a lot more than what we've seen in the outskirts. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Tyler said, maybe they're coming at us later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Later in
We
the
are
game.
more north than here, so I mean, I guess that could be a thought.
The soil temperature has to be 64 degrees down to 8 inches for them to emerge.
I'm ready. I want to see them.
And then they have to warm up to 84 degrees for them to do their thing.
I want to wear bug pins like I talked about on the show. And you were like, Caroline, nobody does that. My dad sent me a photo of him covered in bug pins the other day. So, yeah, there are people that do that. Y'all write in if you're listening right now and you know what I'm talking about with the bug pins.
I don't know.
Let us know.
Hey, also, if y'all are listening to the podcast but want to chime in the conversation, send an email to Gardening Inside Out with your photos of your yard or your garden or just what you're dealing with, or some of your questions too. And we'll answer them on the show or we'll address them here in the podcast.
We will get back to you.
All right.
Let's go ahead and get into it. You'll hear us as well as Josh Carey and David Bates
Answering them questions.
answering all them questions.
So I know we got questions out there, guys. You have any other topics you need to discover before we...
I think I'm good. Austin, you want to talk about anything?
I'm ready. I think it was a weird week for me. I missed a little bit of work because I had a flood. My creek flooded.
Tell us about that just briefly. I know you told me about it yesterday.
It was great. I had to leave work. I had to leave work to go home to work to make no money and clean out my creek so I could get across to get home. Wow. It was an event, y'all. It rained so hard, so fast, and it made a flood over my creek that just washed everything down. I mean, it was crazy. I just had to watch it and just be like, no, this is what I have to deal with now. I mean, I literally couldn't get to work the next day. I had to work on the creek to get massive logs out. I mean, it was wild. It was a lot of rain.
Not a fun time.
No.
Oh.
Not fun at all.
So
Let's get to some questions.
Okay. Let's do
Speaking of
that.
other things to do,
Okay.
we've got a lot of hydrangea questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to just get those out soon. We got a live one in from Jack Lynn on our Facebook page that asks, my young hydrangea plants are looking like Swiss cheese. Help.
Oh, goodness.
I like Swiss cheese.
I do
personally.
too. I love
Tastes
Swiss
good.
cheese.
Doesn't look good whenever it looks
No,
like that. I'm
unless
assuming
it's a Swiss cheese plant.
but it's not. It's a hydrangea. And Swiss cheese typically means bugs, I would assume. I would assume you've got a caterpillar problem, probably. Now, hydrangeas aren't like the most susceptible plant to bugs. Like, for some reason, bugs don't seem to be on hydrangeas all that much. But if you have random caterpillars that, hatch and immediately start eating, which is what they do, then that will typically create holes. So we need send us some pictures. I want to see what's going on because Swiss cheese is not what we want with hydrangeas.
Definitely not.
No,
I know you'd be mad if yours looked like that.
I'd be furious.
You'd be so annoyed. How about this? Can you grow hydrangeas in containers?
Of course.
Yes, I have some in containers, and they look so good right now.
Don't go out of town like in August and, don't have anybody to water them because that's the biggest key with hydrangeas. They're thirsty creatures, okay? So if you do leave, during the heat of the summer or whatever, like make sure you have somebody to help water.
Vacationing in August in general for avid gardeners is dangerous.
It's dangerous. That's a good point,
You just got to
David.
have somebody to be responsible, and can you really trust them? That's when you'll find out.
And things in the ground are a lot easier to deal with, but things in containers are different, okay?
They are very different. I do have to water my hydrangeas that are in containers planters more.
You
even
definitely
now.
do. Mm-hmm. They'll wilt. You water them, they'll perk back up in 20 minutes.
But they look great. I love them. Super cute. How about full sun hydrangeas?
Yes. Yes, there is a species. It's the paniculatas, okay? It's the big ones, the ones that really get large. So this is the quickfire. This is limelight, little lime, bobo, all of those. There's like 20 different varieties now when it comes to the paniculata world, and they are all the full sun hydrangeas. There's treeform varieties, and they're all going to come out kind of that limey green, go to that pure white, and then fade to that kind of pinkish. And that's what they do. And they're on like a cone shape. They're not a round bloom. They're much more coned. And yeah, they'll handle the full sun just fine.
Yeah, I have a neighbor that has a forest of them in the front yard, and it is stunning and just brutal all day sun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They can handle it just fine.
Yeah, I've got some that just get roasted on the side of my house from sun up to sundown, and they get so many blooms. They're so happy.
They love it.
Let's talk about a peewee hydrangea tree that has a single trunk which folded over in the rain. Will it survive? That sounds like your locust tree.
I'm assuming they're talking PG. Don't you think, David, they would be talking PG?
Well,
not
there is
peewee?
I think there is a peewee, but that's probably a cultivar of a
Tequila?
Of an oak leaf hydrangea. I think there is but I have never seen one grown in a tree form.
No.
So it's probably a PG.
Yeah, which would be
some cultivar.
That's a paniculata style, an old school.
But the long story short is not dead.
No,
PG? Is it PG-13?
no.
No, just PG.
It's Paniculata grandiflora. That kind of PG.
There it is, Josh.
Good.
But hey, if it is folded over still,
I speak horticulture all the time. You got to dumb it down. Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what PG is,
PG?
Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Dumbing it
PG
down?
for you.
Okay, very good.
But hey, if it's folded over and still bent and it's not broken, then good. It's still good. It's it's alive. But we need to get that pulled back up, and we need to get it staked. Probably. It sounds like the stem is a little bit weak for the top, which happens a lot. A lot of times the stem will be kind of small, the head will be very large, and then wind is a problem.
It might not be a bad idea if, once you get it staked, is to shear it back pretty good also, because it's obviously dealing with a lot of vegetative growth on the top, which particularly when you're having deluge conditions. Now, this will delay your flowering a little bit, but it won't keep it from flowering. So,
yeah, giving it a good cut back now will make it produce way more leaves and then produce a lot of more blooms atop of that.
It may not be quite as large, but they'll be more profuse, and you'll have a lot more of them.
Yeah, and then make sure you do a heavy pruning over the wintertime with these, okay, y'all?
It's a big
they get
mistake.
heady. Yeah.
Yep.
You got to really get them back in check over the wintertime. So, make sure we do that as well. And then hopefully you won't have that turn down problem.
That turn down
That was
problem.
a horrible sentence.
But you did a cool dance move. You were
Not
doing
a
the
dance
robot. Wow.
It's all about it.
All right, final hydrangea question of the morning. Unless we get any live ones in. My leaves on my oak leaf hydrangeas are curling in on themselves. Thoughts?
Interesting. Sometimes it curling up on themselves sometimes is an overwater scenario. I know that's the case with tomatoes. A number of other plants will do that as well, so it could be. It's rare, though, that a hydrangea is overwatered. A lot of times that's not the case. Check for aphids. They will be on the insides of those curling leaves. They make leaves curl sometimes as well, so it could be an aphid issue. But once again, send us some pics. Let's look at this, because that's cool. I mean, no, it's not cool. I'm sorry. It's not cool for you.
But it's cool for you to try to figure out.
Well, it's
That
one
is.
of those things that they say, one look's worth 1,000 words. But when two people look at something, both people don't see the same thing. And
You know my wife.
well,
Okay.
all I'm saying is that since we're horticulturalists,
Yes.
we view things perhaps slightly different than maybe you do, and it's not your full-time job. So
Yes.
it may be that one little visual cue could be the difference maker in diagnosing the problem properly.
Yes, totally.
We only got one cicada question in. So
Well,
let's get
that's
to
a
it.
good thing
It's a
because
very
they
good
have
thing.
been underwhelming to this point, which
They
is
have.
wonderful.
I have none on my property.
wanna
I
come
haven't
to my
seen
house? I'll
one
give you
shell.
all of
I
them
haven't
you
seen
want.
any. I haven't heard them. Zero.
Interesting. I heard
have any?
not many. I heard one literally yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was very loud in my crepe myrtle next to me where I sit on the front porch. But Other than that, no, it has not been bad. Now, we do have a coworker that works here, Darby, one of our cashiers up front.
Love Darby.
She showed us a video.
It was crazy.
It was insane, the amount of cicadas she had at the base
Piles
of this
of
tree.
shells at the
Literally
bottom.
piles. Like, that's a good word. They were, like, on top of themselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
And then you
shells,
could
the
just see 'em
crawlers.
crawling up that tree.
All of it. So they're out there for sure. They're not where we live for
Josh,
some
do you
reason.
have a lot?
In Smyrna, right where we live, and I live. If you
And what area does she live in?
Goodlettsville.
Goodlettsville. But
It's very strange because that's as the
I
crow
actually-
flies.
But
it's
she
not
actually
that far.
lives a couple houses down from Ben Trust, who's one of our landscape specialists. And Ben is like, I don't really have any.
Yeah.
That's very unusual.
it's it's almost to the point of unnerving during the middle part of the day because of the noise. I mean, it's not so much at night, not really early in the morning, but from about 10 to 3.
They like it hot.
Oh man,
They go wild.
and it's noisy.
They only got one thing on their mind.
Well,
That's
okay.
true. Yeah.
So
Let's get to that question.
Okay.
Can we just leave all the cicada shells on the plants or should they be picked off?
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's up to you. Do you like the look of them on your plants? Do you not? Take them off. Either
Off
way,
the
it doesn't matter.
fence.
Bug pins. Take them off, put them on your sweater, and wear them.
Really?
Yeah. The
No.
little legs stick to you
No.
like Velcro.
Because all
My
those
sister used to do all the
they're
time.
just the exoskeleton that they've shed off, so they're not really, they're not really a bug. They're just what the
They're a
insect came
They're so
out of.
cool.
They're a mere shell of themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
That
They
one.
do stick to you, but don't stick them to you. Nobody does that.
Yes, actually, I do, and some other people
you
do. I'm sure.
don't.
It's a great thing to put into a
Excuse
little
me?
girl's hair.
you could probably make some kind of an interesting, like a wig or something out of them. Like,
Yuck.
just get a wig and just put hundreds of them in there, and then you could save it for Halloween. There's an idea for somebody.
I don't know
There
about
is.
that.
Very good.
Yep.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix, featuring Garden Premium Topsoil Blend. This essential mix includes Tennessee subsoil, supernatural organic compost, humic acid, and mycorrhizal fungi to create a truly living soil. Garden topsoil is perfect for establishing raised, edible, and ornamental garden beds, as well as for planting trees, shrubs, and other landscape plants. Bulk and super sack options available. Visit earthmix.net to discover their entire line of soils and amendments and helpful blog posts. Success begins at the ground level when you use EarthMix garden products.
We did get a couple live comments and questions in about cicadas. So Jane Ann says cicadas roaring close to Opryland. I sweep up a pile each morning at the back door, add to the compost.
There you go.
Good work.
That's that
And
old part
then-
of Madison, that Madison corridor down there, the older neighborhoods. I'm wondering if there's a trend forming there. Because a lot of that stuff was built around the 50s. And they go into these areas when, I don't know if you ever see the new construction, but they scrape off
Yeah, everything's
basically
gone.
everything that would have been there. So I don't know if that has a contributing factor.
Well,
Could
if you
be.
scrape off
All
where
the
they're,
topsoil.
where they had been buried
13 years ago or 17 years ago.
you can say those are gone.
Yes.
Sounds
likely.
kind of sad. Poor little buddies.
or paved over or concreted over.
Yeah,
that happens.
They can't get out if that's the case. Oh, no. Okay, and then our question is, should I cover, and then with netting, my 2-year-old redbud to protect from cicadas? That comes from Teresa.
Unless you just have way too much time on your hands.
Yeah,
Or a lot of netting laying around.
Or not, or both. There's no threat to any tree. Now, the only threat is, and this is a possibility, particularly when you have a lot of them, that they're going to lay eggs right underneath the bark on these stems that are about the size of a number 2 pencil or maybe a little smaller. And because of that, when those eggs grow and swell, it weakens the stem, and that stem can do what we call flagging. It'll just simply snap off. And that branch will, beyond that point, will die off, but the tree won't be dead. No. It's like a pruning that nature does. So
Yeah, the netting can even sometimes do more damage than what the cicadas
The wind
even
gets a
would
hold
do.
of it.
Wind gets a hold of it,
Yeah.
they get the floppy. I'm not doing any of that.
Nope,
You're not going to.
No.
not gonna do it.
Not going to do it.
Gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Okay. So we have somebody asking just, when is a good time to trim my hedges? Josh?
Josh.
3:30.
There you go.
3:30 is going to be nice today.
Yes.
It is.
Great.
Not too cold anymore.
All right. So typically, though, like this isn't necessarily the time to prune. Now, hedges, that's a very broad term.
Yes.
If you're talking about like hollies or something that's forming a hedge, you're talking about like yews that form a hedge, things like this. If they're getting wild hairs, they're shooting up, they're getting big, whatever. Like an established hedge is not going to like die or anything if you prune it now. We typically don't recommend pruning now. They're kind of growing now.
I mean, if it's a privet hedge, there's...
Oh, yeah, cut it to the dirt. Who cares?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And, a lot of hedges that are established are fine by doing that. Typically, I like to recommend a lot of times is going to be around that February time. We get them back in check. That way they flush nice and uniform so they're not all wild and gangly where you have to prune them this time of year. But, like I said, and it's an established hedge can be cut.
Can be done. How often should I fertilize azaleas, both established and newly planted?
Good question.
That is a great question.
Azaleas are kind of heavy feeders. They kind of are. They've got a very fibrous root system. So getting them fertilized in the spring, typically every spring, is a really good practice to do, whether it's just with our compost, our supernatural that you can lay on top, which is always a good practice. And then also maybe some hollytone for those kind of the acid-loving plants, which azaleas are.
And I will share this with you if you're an azalea lover. One thing you do not want to do is to cultivate around azaleas, just for the reason that Austin mentioned. They have very fine, hair-like, fibrous root systems right at the surface. People who cultivate can do way more damage. So you don't want to do that. It's okay to pull weeds out and that kind of thing, but don't run a little tiller in around them. You'll destroy them. So don't do that.
That's a good point.
All right. I've had white gumbo azaleas in the ground for 3 years, and they have never flowered. What gives?
Well, it's been the last 3 years.
Gumbo?
Two of the last gumbo azaleas.
Gumbo.
The last 2 of those 3 years have been severely cold. We've had, not extended cold spells, but this is where the difference between a meteorological severe winter and a horticultural severe winter is. It only takes a single night to be horticulturally severe, and we've managed to have that each of the last 2 years.
Yep.
Maybe it was a slightly more than a night, but it matters not. You get damage that occurs, and gumpos are not the most hardy of azaleas. The plant will survive, but the buds will freeze out. You get a lot of dead wood on the tips. All you can do is trim and fertilize and let them flush back out and hope that doesn't happen next year. And if you get totally put out with it, you might try a different cultivar.
You might give it a name, too. You know what that one would be? Bubba Gumpo.
Sounds like you need to take some
I see one
home.
in your future, Josh.
Bubba Gumpo.
Which would be blooming.
And that
at
is
some
exactly what we can depend on, Josh, the input. We can give. So thank you, Josh.
Well,
Yes,
you're
that
welcome.
was wonderful.
You got to have a name, right?
And now you got to have one of those.
in bloom
Oh,
with Austin. Surprise.
You snuck it in, Tyler. All right. So there's a lot of things blooming, but me and Caroline talked this morning. It's kind of a little bit of a lull period right
It's
now.
in between.
It's a little in between, but there's still some things going. Hey, shout out to the monarch butterflies. Your milkweed is in bloom.
Yes.
They're doing good. Your yarrow. Hey, daylilies just started. Ann in the office told me about daylilies. She also told me about mini pearl phlox. Her words exactly, an excellent cultivar of phlox. So if you want a kind of a small garden phlox, mini pearl is a really pretty one.
is that one called Hemeracalis Mrs. Henry Cannon? That was her, actually. That was who she actually was, or Sarah Cannon.
Oh.
Sarah
Oh,
Cannon.
maybe
Yeah.
that's Sarah Cannon. I remember that.
Sarah, yes, Sarah.
There you go. If you like white, the Shasta daisies are blooming. Catnip's still going, although getting a little bit ratty. Hey, just started the red hot pokers. Enjoy those for about a week because that's all you got. They are a short blooming plant, but when they bloom, they're really pretty. Salvia and my creeping thyme still at the house, going nuts. Caroline's poppies are going. Her verbena
Amazing.
is going. So great. My clematis is still going. What's not going anymore is Caroline's crossvine.
But the leaves look great.
Yep.
Honeysuckle as a vine still going nuts in the woods, okay? Your roses, y'all, looking good this year. Doing nice. They're starting to get buggy, though. Come out and see me. I'll help you out on that because it's happening. Spirea. Shout out Shannon, who's a landscape specialist, loves the spirea. It's going. Hey, it's hydrangea season. It just started. Oak leaf hydrangeas. Tyler, you've got one, don't
Yes,
you?
I do.
Okay. Get ready for me to talk about
blooming.
hydrangeas for weeks because
It's
it just
time.
started. I love it. Hey, your Itea, the sweet spire, y'all, the wet spot, the dry spot, the shady spot, the sunny spot, don't matter. Itea is going to live. It is
They love
blooming
it.
right
They
now.
can take it all.
They can take it all. Smoke trees are lit.
Look in the corner. Oh, we won't talk about it anymore.
Hey, Caroline's mock orange. She got that for her
Yes.
birthday last year. That's in bloom, blooming white, smelling good. Get
Yes.
you one of those. They're rare, but when they're in bloom, they're pretty. Hey, magnolias just started. You know what they're doing? They're blooming at the same time that they're shedding and leafing. There's this whole thing happening
Yes.
with magnolia
Not
right
hydrangeas. I know that's all you want to think about.
Quite
Stop.
an active thing
Yes.
going on. A lot of people, I've had some questions this week from folks. What's wrong with them?
Uh-huh.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's called
Nothing.
spring. They're dropping off the old. They're putting out the new, and the
And
flowers are coming
blooming.
with it. Yes.
Isn't it crazy? Magnolias,
Yes.
yes, awesome. Okay, hey, weird one. Chinese chestnut. They're looking good. They're blooming right now. You don't even think about a Chinese chestnut till they're in bloom. This big rounded crown tree, awesome. The Coosa dogwoods are still going, but just about on their way out. They're kind of not a really long one either, but when they're in show, they're really beautiful. Okay, catalpa trees, big ones, big old leaves. Catalpas are in bloom, blooming white. I love those. The nasty ones, the primrose.
We used to smoke the what we call it Indian cigars, because they have these long seed pods on them. When we were kids, we would smoke them because they were not smooth.
No.
All right, smoking catalpa, baby. Love it. All right, the nasty ones, the primrose and the privet, still going bad, still going bad. And then finally, shout out to the farmers of the world. Beans are up, corn is
Yeah, they
up,
are.
people.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, corn is up. They ain't blooming. No, they ain't blooming. I know this is in bloom. They ain't blooming, but they're up. Beans, corn, it's up. Farmers, thank you.
Prime gardening time.
That's what's in bloom.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I think you named a lot of things.
You're right.
I was going to say everything,
Such
but I
a
was like, I'm
shame
sure
the
there were.
primrose are bad.
It does suck.
Really, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is. They're not fun to get rid of. Hey,
Yeah.
but you know what I've talked about? You grow the misty lilac petunias.
It does
Okay.
look
They
just
look
like
just like the primrose, except they're not horrible, noxious weeds.
All right.
Uh-huh. Grow them, people.
Yeah. I've got the upright primrose that's yellow.
That one's not bad.
Yeah.
You know what we
It
What?
spreads by
What?
seed.
Speak your mind.
It spreads by seed. It's pretty bad. I planted it, and now it just blows into all my beds.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got to go to a special event honoring Burdell Campbell, wonderful Nashville treasure, and I got to see a whole lot of folks here who are gracious enough to be customers of Bates Nursery and Garden Center. And well, one of the most frequent comments I got was just how passionate Austin is about plants, and they loved it. So anyway,
Very cool.
they're very appreciative of your passion for horticulture. Austin.
good.
I told them it's legit. It's real.
It
You
is
come out
legit.
here, that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're going to get.
Oh,
live
yeah.
and in person.
Oh, I'm gonna tell it to you like it is on the lot, just like I would on this show. I love it, every part of it. I hate some parts of it. I'm annoyed by lots of parts of it.
Yes,
but
you are.
all of it's great, y'all. It's great. It's gardening. It's part of it. Let's suffer, but also love it together.
It's called passion, and you have so much of it.
Yes.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Spring is at our doorstep, and if your plans involve improving your landscape or starting a garden, then Bates Nursery is the essential place for what you need. They offer the largest selection of plants in the Southeast, from unique flowers and trees to tropicals, roses, houseplants, and native plants. Bates Nursery's 92 years of serving Nashville gives them unparalleled experience in stocking the plants that perform best for your home. Their friendly staff of horticulture experts are ready to assist you with your gardening needs. Located minutes from downtown Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee, just off Briley Parkway at exit 19. Shop inventory online before you visit at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
We did get some live questions in. Joan is asking, how much can you trim off an established green velvet boxwood? Is it best to cut more now or cut a little now and again later in the season? And then she says, also last year, y'all gave me a good tip to use WD-40 on hedge trimmers. Last year I trimmed boxwoods. They were brown on top. WD-40 helped with that. Thanks, Joan.
Thanks, Joan. All right, Joan. I wonder what your velvets look like right now. I mean, if they're like out of bounds, kind of like what we talked about earlier with the hedges. I mean, if they're, what do they look like to you?
They're
you
about 2 months behind the curve on boxwood trimming.
Typically, yeah, we're not necessarily like typically they're flushed right now, and this is when they kind of look the best. Like my velvets are so pretty right now.
Mine are too.
Just about perfect.
Yeah, they really are. So I mean, if you feel like you want to shape it up because you don't like maybe it's growing a little funky on one side or whatever, I guess you could trim. But right now it's kind of a light trim, if you ask me. We typically give boxwood a good trim kind of at February time before they flush, so they do flush uniformly. So that's what I got for you.
Yeah, and if the foliage has not hardened off, you don't want to trim it yet. You just give it another week or two to allow that foliage to have that more similar feel to the more mature foliage that's underneath it. What can happen is, and you talked about cleaning your shears with WD-40, which works really well.
It.
Don't overdo it.
Yeah.
And also take a cloth and wipe them off before you start trimming with them. Mm-hmm. But if the growth is too juvenile, you're going to wind up mashing it, and it won't cut cleanly as you've got a really good pair of shears like ARS, which are like scissors. They're surgically sharp.
They will bite you.
Don't get your fingers up there. They are professional quality, so just be careful if you're using those.
Watch those fingers. All right, Nicole asks, can you move established peonies after blooming? Yes, you can. I have moved mine in the fall. I find that to be the best time.
It's typically what we recommend. Like all the time, we recommend dormancy was whenever you kind of want to lift and move bulbs, or any perennial for that matter. But peonies are very, very hardy creatures. Okay, so if once they're done blooming, you can move them. Just make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready to water and get them in that site that you want them.
Yep. And Jessica asks, what's wrong with primrose? It is pretty invasive, very invasive. It just takes over.
Yeah. Drive through rural Rutherford County and watch the sides of the roads. I mean, it's rivals
everywhere.
It rivals the Bradford pear in how badly
It's the ground cover.
Yes,
that's the thing. But I'm kind of like you said, Jessica. I'm kind of with you on this. It's like, what is wrong with it? I don't know that it necessarily like messes up nature or natural what's going on around here. I mean, if you got the space for it and you like it, I mean, then no, there's really nothing wrong with it.
I've seen it on hillsides and it's stunning. And I mean, there's not a lot you can do with hillsides. And so that's a good option. But planting it in your landscaping and your garden beds, that's where you're going to run into an issue because it's going to want to eat everything.
It eats everything. Yeah.
Think mint.
Mint.
I'll be battling mint until the day I die.
Last week's shows.
Well, I hope it's quite a long time for the record.
Last week we had a comment on the Facebook page about above ground gardens. So I had this in mind to come across. The question was, is there an advantage or disadvantage to using wood versus the galvanized planters that are for above ground gardening? I mean, he was concerned about the heat that would be generated with a galvanized tub.
I mean, people a lot of times plant stuff in a galvanized thing.
I see it all the time. I haven't.
The thing about a galvanized container is at least it is quite reflective.
Yes.
And because it's metal, sure, the temperature, the capacity for it to change temperature quickly is there, but because it is highly reflective, it's not going to induce or be all that inductive. Like if it was, say, if it was cast iron, it might get really hot
painted
and
black.
Yes,
yes.
The wood, of course, is thermally very slow to change temperature. It is not ever going to get hot enough. If it got hot enough to really affect the soil, it would probably be in flames.
Absolutely.
So because it can't achieve kindling temperature, but I've never seen that happen.
No.
All right. Linda asks, what is the best dwarf ornamental grass for year-round interest around a pool?
Oh, yeah. Where's Bridget when we need her?
That's right.
Dwarf.
I don't know how dwarf you want to go. I mean, the fountain grasses are really nice, but probably the least hardiest of the grasses that we sell. Not that I'm saying it can't come back and do well. It does, but I do see issues with the fountain grass, and that typically stays the smallest.
What about sedges? I know they're they handle the wet pretty well.
They
But
definitely
the
handle the
sun,
wet.
though, would that
Yeah,
be
they
the
don't really
issue?
want a full sun. If you've got shade around your pool, then sedges would be a great idea. There's
Mondo?
variegated sedges. Mondo's as small as you can get. Also, still needs some shade though. So I don't know how dwarf you want to be. Me and Caroline were talking yesterday, and she said that she's got like what'd you say, 4 or 5 different ornamental grasses, ornamental
5 different
switchgrass.
types of switchgrass.
Of
That doesn't
switchgrass.
include other types.
And
What
they
about Stippa?
Yeah. Could use
Stippa's
that.
one. Yep.
Yeah. But she was talking about how North Wind switchgrass, that cultivar specifically, which will get up about 4 to 5 feet tall. So if you can handle that, North Wind is premier, right?
So clean.
It's cleaner than any other switchgrass you've planted. And I talk about that grass a lot. I grow it at the house, and I'm just in love with it. And it's so good around a pool area. If you can handle a 4-foot tall grass, it sways in the breeze.
Mine's more
stays
like 5
vertical.
5 foot.
5 with the seed heads at
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
So the conversation is heard at Austin's house is, where's Daddy? He's out talking to the switchgrass.
Dancing with the
He's
switchgrass.
I'm not dancing with him. I don't dance.
Don't lie. You
I
just
don't.
dance when no one's watching.
No, I
with that
don't.
switch-
I've danced at like 3 weddings. I'll give you that.
I've seen you dance on the show with those arms.
With my,
All right, let's stick on the grass topic. What's a good pollinator-friendly native grass? Blue stem. That's what I would go for.
I knew you were going to say
I've
that.
got little blue stem. I've got big blue stem. I love blue stem.
Yeah, and really good for like the little birds.
They're great for the birds. Yeah, I noticed after, actually in the spring, the birds were like flocking to it because I left the seed heads up on my blue stem all winter into the spring. I actually just removed them last week, and they were tiny little birds. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head.
Those little goldfinches really like
Yeah.
the bird. I mean,
Black cat
They really like the
chickadees, perhaps. or-
Something very small and cute.
but Bridget would be
What
very
color?
happy with you saying that. The native
What
little
color?
blue stem.
Yeah, what color were the birds?
Yellow.
Yellow.
They were yellow. I thought you meant the grass. I was like, pretty blue.
Yeah, it's goldfinch.
All right, how to get rid of leaf miners in my okra starts.
That's interesting. You've already got
Yeah.
leaf miner on okra
Or
starts.
maybe they're preparing for it. They know it's going to happen.
Oh. Well,
Could be it.
there's preventative sprays. I don't really like doing that or recommending that unless you got the issue. You know what I mean? Like, and okra's a vigorous growing plant. Okay, so removing leaves that have leaf miners in there is probably your best bet because okra shoots so quickly.
Sunshine and heat.
They love it. They love it. So if you're seeing a leaf miner, you know what a leaf miner is literally they make a tunnel in the leaf, and you can see it almost looks like a little etch-a-sketch on the leaf.
Break it off.
So break it off. Yeah. Like that's the first best control. Just get rid of it totally.
Just get rid of it.
They're growing machines when
They
it
are.
gets hot.
Yeah. I love growing okra. I haven't grown it in a couple years. I really only grow it for
Matter
the
of fact,
flower.
you know, the thing about okra is so sneaky that you can have a little pod in the morning that's too small to pick.
Yeah.
And then
if-
cardboard by 3 o'clock.
Well, if you don't get it by afternoon, the
Yes.
next day it's already too big.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's so true.
And they're
Yes.
all, and
Tell me I'm lying.
No,
I'm
you're
not
right.
lying.
It is like chewing on
one of
cardboard.
my favorite things are people who share their prized
Massive ones.
yeah.
cucumbers that are, that are
Gourds.
this big. You know, they really say, "Look, I'm good." They're
I did
sharing it
great.
with you. Wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
if someone breaks in, we've got a weapon.
Exactly. Yeah. They get crazy large, crazy fast. Okay, someone is saying, I'm really liking Indian pinks. Are they better in full sun or part shade?
No, that's a part shade
That
plant.
is, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We keep that in
Absolutely.
our shade department, and it is. It's a cool little plant, the little red blooms. Someone asked about, Andy, he's our machine operator, was on a machine unloading a rack, and he saw them on top, and he was like, hey, Bridget, what is this? He was like, I think I need some of those. So,
I need
yeah.
this.
Cool plant, but yeah, definitely going to need some shade.
And it's a good little shade. I mean, there's not many flowering shade plants as much
That are
as
like that
full
vibrant.
sun.
Yeah,
that
you're
one
right.
that one is vibrant and gorgeous. My yarrow is really floppy. Any way to stand it up?
Staking methods. There's peony cages that they typically make for peonies
Grow
specifically,
throughs.
but they can grow through them and they'll keep them up. A good way to keep yarrow at bay, though, is to go ahead and chop that y'all. Get rid of those blooms now, especially if they're like past full show and they're starting to get a little ratty and they're gangly and they're floppy. Cut them to the top of the foliage.
Yep. You're
You're going to get new bloom cycle. You're going to have a whole new bloom cycle if you do that.
They make really good cut flowers too. So my moonshine is really looking great right now, but it's starting to flop. So I'm probably going to cut it this weekend, put it in vases, clean it up.
Yeah, situational awareness in the garden is also helpful. If you know like a big storm's coming through and you know you're getting close to it, even if they look beautiful right then, go ahead and cut them and you'll avoid all that flop. And then when the storms come, they have little effect on them. Then they just boom right back out.
Yeah,
So
and
they're all good.
Yeah, you've done a great job of that this year. You've made a number. You've showed me pictures of like a number of good bouquets you've made. And you were proactive. You went ahead and cut the blooms.
Wild with my bouquets.
It's kind of hard to do that. It makes you feel like, oh God, I'm cutting off this bloom on this beautiful plant. But bring them in, put them in a vase, have them in your house. Like that's a great idea. You just have to. You got to cut them.
Gotta cut them. Were you about to say something, Josh?
No.
Yeah.
That went by quick.
We'll
as
clean it up
usual.
and catch up like we did this week. Because, hey, folks, we do this live. So when you're viewing, if you see it about 9 o'clock tonight, and you put a comment on it, we're going to get a notification and we'll try to answer it. But we don't always see those. So, but,
Happy Mother's Day, moms.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day.
Absolutely. If you have the opportunity and can, go see your mom and give her a hug. Give her one from me, too.
That's right.
And for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, we thank you for participating. Like, share, ring bells, everything. Let everybody know about Gardening Inside Out because we're going to continue to grow so we can come back to you every Saturday morning here from Bates Nursery Garden. Bates Nursery and Garden Center. It's easy for me to say.
It is.
And the Green Room Studios. See you next Saturday morning.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.